So it was hard for me to like really understand that my father, like when I was a kid, was stealing from the Department of Transportation.
Your dad stealing from the Department of Transportation?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got home, all the signs were there.
That's pretty good.
Well, that one's
Can
perfect.
you dig it?
Sorry, wrong button.
Wrong button every time. And the reason that joke is extra special for tonight is because we have, all right, I brought my thesaurus with me.
We always say special guest.
Okay, our special guest. So Josh asked me to dig into the thesaurus to get a little more creative.
Stop
versus
saying special.
Every episode.
So we're going to let Sam pick?
Yes. So Sam.
What kind of guest are you going to be?
So here's what the thesaurus kicked out, okay? Exceptional, extra special.
That's weak.
I know. Exactly. Unusual, noteworthy, remarkable.
Ooh. Yeah.
So tonight we have what kind of guest?
What are you? That's like he's a humble man. You can't ask a humble man to give us
Although
an adjective.
remarkable sounds pretty
There
good.
you go. Remarkable. We have
remarkable guest.
All right. Tonight we have a remarkable guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
I'd be happy to. Sam Credio. I'm the Director of Transportation and Mobility for the City of Tucson.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty special.
I chose remarkable because it is remarkable that I'm in this position. It's unbelievable. I'm still kind of
That's awesome.
shocked.
So we're sitting in the Tucson area, right? Yeah. And you're the Director of Transportation and Mobility of the City of Tucson. Yeah. So you're a homegrown boy, though, right? From university and everything?
Pretty close, yeah. My family, I was born in Chicago.
Okay.
And my family moved here when
Midwest.
I was less than a year old.
What'd you say?
I just said Midwest.
Yeah.
Man. There's like a lot of Midwest.
A lot of Midwest. Yep.
Yep.
Midwest transplant. I was less than a year old, so Tucson's my hometown. Grew up
So
here.
did you ever make it to the Brat Stop when you were 1 year old? Your parents are like, he can eat. Let's go to the Brat Stop outside of Racine, Wisconsin.
Never made it to the Brock.
Next time you're up,
Next time you're in Racine, Wisconsin,
the Brat Stop.
stop at the Brat Stop. What the hell are you talking about? Is that
it's a
close?
place-
Is that close to Chicago, Racine, Wisconsin?
It's the halfway point where I was born, actually between Chicago and Milwaukee.
Yep.
Okay.
So there you go, Josh.
All right. Hey, listen, man.
Bratwurst.
Good. Bratwurst.
Yeah.
Brat Stop.
Okay, sorry, I cut you off though. Chicago, 1 year old, 2
1
years
years old. Yeah. Moved to Tucson and been here ever since. Went to Santa Rita High School.
Yeah.
I went to the U of A and graduated with a civil engineering degree. And I started working in the private sector as a designer for roads, transportation projects.
Really?
In fact, I've designed a handful of projects around the city. Star Pass Mission Road was a project I worked on. I
very
designed
cool.
that whole roadway. Let's see, Camino Seco Wrightstown intersection. I designed that.
Wow.
So I've got my fingerprints on the city. And in 2011, I was laid off, and luckily enough, in 2012, I found myself at the City of Tucson. Been there ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
so I've never talked to someone that's designed a road before.
Yeah.
Can you like talk me through the process? Like, what does it take? What are the steps in designing a road?
It really depends if it's a new road. Is it are we widening the road? Are we retrofitting it for some reason? At Star Pass and Mission was a really cool project because we actually realigned the road. If you remember, Mission Road used to go straight through around a mountain.
Yes,
Yep.
So
I do.
we realigned that to create a T intersection to slow down speeds there.
Oh, interesting.
And on top of that, we also added some bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. So it was a really cool project. One of my first as a designer. And what goes into it is you collect data, you collect survey. That's the boring part. You lay out your horizontal, your vertical. But what's more interesting is when you get out and go to the public, because you lay out your design and then you go ask the public, what do you think about this? And then that's where they tell you, well, we enjoy walking or biking in this area, so we'd like to see bike lanes, or we'd like to see more sidewalks. And in that instance, we actually did some water harvesting in the middle. That was when water harvesting was like not even really a thing.
Right.
And so there was this whole open area that we created this little like mesquite forest almost. And what's cool about that is during construction, we uncovered an old landfill. We started pulling tire after tire out of that area. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a cool, exciting project. Design is anywhere from 12 to 24 months.
Oh, wow. So it's quite a long time.
Yeah. So and then that includes trying to find out where the utilities are at underground, making sure the public's happy with the project. Then the city bids it out, and then a contractor. I think that one took about a year to construct. So start to finish, it takes anywhere from 2 to 5 years to build a project. But we have some that last a lot longer, and I think you're going to ask me about one in a little bit. So I won't spoil it for you.
Thanks for not spoiling my.
That's got to be such a cool
yeah.
thing. Like anyone that's involved in creating something that like lasts a long time. Like every time you drive down that part of town, you're like, I did that.
Yep. My mom used to live on that side of town, and she'd always drive by it and tell people my son designed that. So it is really cool. It's kind of a lasting legacy. And I think that's why I really cling to my role at the city, is that I get to serve the public and provide a service that hopefully has an impactful, a lasting impact on the community.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. That's really cool, Sam. All right. So question, backing up to your title, Director of Transportation and Mobility.
Yeah.
Help us understand that second half of your title.
What is that?
So we actually our department used to be called TDOT, Tucson Department of Transportation. And that was just, everybody knew us as TDOT. And in 2019, actually 2020, the mayor and council had a retreat. And one of the things that they talked about doing was changing our name and adding the word mobility to it. And there was a motion and a vote, and they changed our name like in the middle of a meeting. I was actually on vacation. I came back. And,
you worked for a different
name. And at the time, some of us were scratching our heads, but what we realize is that transportation is just one piece of what we do. And our name now more accurately reflects the service we provide to the community, because mobility is about moving people, all types of people, all different modes through the community. And so we were already doing that. Mm-hmm. And so now transportation and mobility just sort of is a nice way of describing the work we do.
So I heard you use that phrase, the different types of modes. Mm-hmm. So what are the different types of modes of transportation that you typically deal with?
Yeah. So in our department, we handle everything, basically everything you see between the sidewalks. So curbs, sidewalks, streets, lighting, traffic signals. But we also have parking in our department. We also manage the transit system for the city of Tucson. We manage all the maintenance. We have the capital projects. We basically everything you see, and that encompasses people walking, biking, riding a bus, driving a car.
Right on.
Yeah, that sounds like it covers a lot of different areas, Sam.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, how's your funding, man?
Yeah,
you guys doing okay?
That's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. Most people don't understand how transportation's funded. So our primary source of funding is the gas tax. And so whenever you fill up your tank, 18 cents of that per gallon goes into what's called the Highway User Revenue Fund. And then we get a share of that. And it's about $60 million a year that comes into the city.
That's your share.
That's my share. That's what we use for fixing the potholes, addressing street lights. I mean, mostly that is maintenance. And we can also use that for some capital projects. But that's primarily how we're funded. We can't use gas tax for transit. We can't use it for parking. It's only for the transportation needs. The bad thing about the gas tax is the 18 cents was set back in like 1990 something, and it hasn't changed since then.
Oh, right.
So, we all know the cost of everything has gone up, but yet our funding has stayed pretty much the same. And so we have to get creative with how we fund our system. And we've done that through sales tax, through bonds, and just also there's a regional sales tax as well that we participate in. So.
Have you guys seen with the rise, and I don't even know what the metrics are, but with the rise of electric vehicles, have you seen a decline in the number of gallons sold, and then therefore a decline in the available revenue for you?
Yeah. That's something we're watching really closely. In fact, I had just got our quarterly numbers for HURF, Highway User Revenue Fund, and they were down. And I was a little bit worried because we haven't typically seen a decline. Yeah. We haven't seen an increase. It's been flat. Mm-hmm. And that's been the concern for us because the needs continue to grow, but our funding source is flat. But this last 3 months, we actually saw a decline in HURF. And I'm just curious. I'm wondering what that's due to.
Damn you, Elon Musk.
And that's a concern. Yeah. We don't get any funding from electric vehicles,
right?
Yet the wear and tear on the road is the same as a gas-powered vehicle.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
Wow, that really is. All right, so we've had campfire cycles on.
Yeah.
Okay, right?
Yep.
And running behind campfire cycles is a beautiful new road that's smooth as can be. and really cool. So we took that after doing, what's that called? The escape room. Did an escape room downtown Tucson. And, and we were on the way back, and my daughter goes to school with your daughter.
Yep.
Okay. And she said, that Grace's dad helped like design whatever, build this road, whatever, 9-year-olds say, 10-year-olds say. And I said, really? And so I chatted to you about it. That's how we got kind of connected with this whole topic here. So that can you tell us about that? Like the planning and what went into that, and the length and duration and all that.
That's a really cool project. So that project is called Downtown Links. It's just kind of the name we gave that project. It's actually the third phase of a 3-phase project. So the first phase of the project was a big drainage project around the 8th Street, 4th Avenue area. That went in roughly 2012. And the reason that was the first phase is because we had to get the box culvert in before the streetcar tracks were laid on 4th Avenue.
Right.
The second phase was St. Mary's from Church to I-10. That was the widened St. Mary's to 4 lanes. Previously, it was 2 lanes. There was no sidewalks, no lighting. We actually added sidewalks, lighting, drainage. That was my first project at the city. In fact, when we cut the ribbon on it, Grace was just barely a year old. I think she just turned a year old. And so I was the project manager on that, both the construction and then the design. And I joked that they just picked the youngest guy in the room and were like, you're going to be because this project's going to last forever. So if you think about, we were working on the design of that one that just completed back in 2012, and we're still working on it, still trying to build it. So the history of that project is when ADOT was going to build aviation, they actually were going to continue aviation straight across downtown over to I-10. What that was going to do is wipe out all those warehouses where Campfire's at. And the city lost their mind. They had protests. They held hands through the underpass and 4th Avenue. And ADOT said, forget it, we're out, and turned the project over to the city of Tucson. And since that time, it's been about 30 years that we've been working on figuring out what that project was going to look like. And ultimately what we landed on is a local 4-lane road with bike lanes. It's pretty limited access to get people around downtown and over to St. Mary's to I-10, because we know that we could see the traffic volumes growing. And downtown's not getting any, streets aren't getting wider downtown.
You can't. There's no room to do it.
Exactly. There's no capacity. So, and downtown was growing. It's growing with the streetcar and development. So we want the people that are going downtown to enjoy it. And then those that need to get around it, that's what Downtown Links was intended to do. Ultimately, the road was renamed to Cyclovia Parkway. Okay. That was a request from the Barraza family. That Barraza Aviation Highway is named after. They actually approached us and asked if they would name the new road after their father. And so we did. And that's how, and what's really cool about that is we don't build new roads very often. It's only the second new road in a really long time. The first being the Sabino Canyon Road extension over the landfill there. And then this is the second new road. So it's been really exciting to be part of that, both from the design, and now actually we cut the ribbon on that east mile. I got to cut the ribbon as director, which is really cool. Yeah. And then we're working on the west mile right now, which is a new road underneath the railroad tracks. So you will no longer have to wait for the trains there. And a quick side note, that at-grade crossing at 6th Street was one of the most deadliest crossings in UP's alignment, like across the country. Because of all the pedestrians and bicyclists and vehicles at that location. So
UP, Union Pacific
Railroad.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. And so that project is slated to be complete later next year, and it's going to be a brand new road, and it's a cool project. It's been a lot of fun working on that one.
That's cool. Do you track metrics? Like, are you able to track how much traffic's going through, like on that East Road? Do you know yet?
We do, yeah. Periodically we take traffic counts. We try to do them in the spring and the fall to try to avoid summer and winter because of the people leave for school or the snowbirds come in. So spring and fall, and we haven't yet, but we'll do some traffic counts to see. It's pretty well utilized. I see lots of folks out there driving. But what was really cool about that project is all of the alternate modes that we accommodated through the design. And so what I mean by that is during design, a lot of folks told us, hey, 9th Avenue and 7th Avenue are major thoroughfares for people walking and biking to downtown. And we need to maintain those connections. And so through the design on this project, we found ways to keep those connections in place or enhance them. And so if you notice along that new road, there's actually a multi-use path on one side of it. And we worked really hard with the bicycling community to try to either enhance or maintain those connections.
Oh, that's super cool. You said a friend, we've got a kind of a worldwide podcast here. You said a term I want to make sure our listeners know. You said snowbirds. So here in Tucson, I think it's a Tucson term. Maybe it's not, but like, it's really hot here in the summer and it's really nice here the rest of the year. I always say we have 4 months of awful and 8 months of awesome. And during that 8 months of awesome, we get a lot of people that come down where it's super cold and they live here like during the wintertime or whatever. We call them snowbirds. So our population grows in the winter.
Exactly.
So Sam, recently you have been bicycling.
Yeah.
And your family as well.
Yeah.
And I know you went to the really cool event called Cyclovia. Cyclovia.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And I know that's there's a group in Tucson, I always forget the name, who puts that on.
Living Streets Alliance.
Yep. Thank you. So fun event. And anyway, I know you have to close off the roads. I'm sure the TPD, Tucson Police Department is involved and all that. But so you're biking. So trying to kind of connect our podcast of bicycles and that to the nexus of kind of what you do here.
Yeah.
So you mentioned there's feedback from the community and you heard like 7th and 9th streets, avenues, and continuing of the bike paths. So how does like the whole bike community fit into your transportation and mobility?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And you mentioned Campfire. Shout out to Campfire. They actually helped with my bike that I got hooked up with.
Oh, so
cool. The Ward 1 council member, actually, her team got together. They found me an old bike at Bicus, brought it over to Campfire. Toby from Campfire hooked it up for me.
That's cool.
And they gifted it to me. So, cool. I have been cycling more, which has been really, really cool.
Nice.
We've got a lot of different ways that the cycling community interacts with our department. So one is there is formally the Tucson Pima Bicycle Advisory Committee that we have a staff lead that supports. And that is a group of people that represent all over the city and the county that are bicycling advocates. And so that is their sole role, is to make recommendations to both mayor and council and our department on ways to improve bicycling across the community. Also on projects like Downtown Links, we typically have an advisory committee made up of citizens that are they're in the neighborhoods or represent some specific area that we want to make sure that we're addressing. And so that was another way that they participated, is providing comments during the design period, or just people have my email address, so they emailed me directly and said, "Hey, why don't you fix this?"
We'll go ahead and put that. We'll go ahead and put that in the show notes.
There you go. Hey, it's public record. So
I can only imagine like being in your position. Like when we're driving down the road, it's like, your comments like potholes and waiting for another red light. But to think about all that goes into it, and then like how open you are with listening to the public. I don't know if everybody, including myself, really has a good understanding of that.
Yeah.
So, kudos, and that's what makes our city a special place as well.
Absolutely. And, so a couple things is we've got different ways for the community to reach out to us, and they can, and I can give you the information. We got a phone number you can call, an email address. You can report those potholes. You don't always have to call me, Mike. There's a number for that. But
sorry, I had to throw that in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We could talk, we should probably talk about potholes before we're done here. But one of the things, I take my role as a public servant very seriously, and our really hardworking 250 hardworking employees do that as well. And so when we hear those complaints, we want to address them. We want to make sure that if there's something we can fix, we'll try to fix it. And if we can't, then we'll tell you why we can't.
So the Department of Transportation and Mobility has 250 city employees?
That's correct.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's really cool.
Yep. And that doesn't include all of the SunTrans, SunVan, and SunLink employees, because they're not city employees, but we got a big team.
Yeah. Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah. Okay. So some future projects, like you mentioned, the voice, the advocacy groups of the bicyclists. Do they come to you and say, "Hey, we would like to see, some bike paths, things like that"? How do you have anything in mind that might be coming down the pipe here?
Sure. So a few different ways that we address that. One is, a few years ago, we actually completed a 20-year mobility master plan called Move Tucson. And so we did broad outreach to the community. We asked that question: what is it you want out of your transportation system? And what we heard is we want more transit. We want more walking. We want more biking. We want safe facilities that we can do those things. Of course, there was also some road projects there were some widening projects. But by and large, what we heard is that the community wants to modernize our roadway system. And what that means is they want sidewalks. They want lights. They want to be able to get across town efficiently. Yeah. That doesn't always mean just adding more lanes. It means optimizing our traffic signal equipment. So that has been, for the last several years, kind of our guiding light. We also have some voter initiatives that we're working on. And so one in particular that I think you all will be interested in is back in 2018, the voters approved Proposition 407. It was called Parks and Connections. And so there's a parks component, and where the city's investing a lot of money in our parks across the city. But there was also a connections piece. And I thought that was really cool because we're investing in walking and cycling, providing those connections to the parks. And part of that program includes building several bike boulevards throughout the community. And that's something we're right in the middle of delivering as we speak.
That's what you call them, bike boulevards.
Bike boulevards, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sam, do you guys involved with the Tucson Loop at all?
We're not involved with the Loop. So the Loop is interestingly maintained and operated by Pima County Regional Flood Control District, because those are all flood control
next to the
facilities
wash there.
Next to
That's
the
right,
wash. Exactly. Yeah. So even my counterpart at the Pima County Department of Transportation, they don't maintain the Loop. That is a flood control. Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, most people don't.
I would imagine that you're considering that in your design, though, so you can hook into the Loop where it would make sense.
Yes, absolutely. And so I mentioned bike boulevards, and it's interesting. Most people are like, "What's a bike boulevard?" So a bike boulevard is creating a low stress environment for people bicycling and actually walking as well. And so what that means is providing routes typically through neighborhoods and local streets. That means lowering the speed limit to 20 miles per hour. We install speed humps, traffic circles, lane marking, signage. And again, it's just creating that lower stress, safer passageway for our most vulnerable users. And then part of that is where we see an opportunity to tie into the Loop. That's what we're doing, because we know that people within the inner city want to make their way out to the Loop. And so we want to be able to provide those safe connections.
So when I'm riding on a street and I look down and I see a bicycle painted on the I'm on a bike boulevard, basically.
You may not be. Depends where you're at. Okay. Yeah.
So would it be safe to say that it's not just, let's build something here, on a path there, but you guys have like a grand scheme, and like you use the word connections, where
Move Tucson, was that right?
Move Tucson was the master plan we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That's the grand scheme.
That's the grand scheme, the Move Tucson. So I don't know if I shared this with you or it was with Wolfman, which the episode just dropped on Halloween timeframe.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. But we had been talking at one point about what you mentioned, the less stress. And when we can look at the technology that people wear now when riding bicycles, you can start monitoring when they're stressed. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to note that when there's high traffic and things like that, they can start to almost analyze that and tie it, to the riding. And
absolutely.
And so with that kind of feedback in mind, I really like what you mentioned there with the low stress. And one that comes to my mind is it Third Street, Second Street? I forget which one.
Third Street.
Yeah, Third Street. And just a nice path. I see a lot of the University of Arizona students riding that, which is awesome for our university and all that. Sadly, though, part of riding with traffic, there are accidents that do happen. So I wanted to, kind of explore that a little bit with you. If you have any statistics to share, and I know that's paramount to what you do as far as like safety and that goes. And if there's anything that like we as a bike community can spread the word, we also drive cars, to kind of just to create more of a safer environment. Just kind of, help us explore that topic a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I became director in April of 2022, and then we closed out 22 with nearly 100 traffic related fatalities, including cyclists, pedestrians, vehicles. And I mean, I've told people that's as a transportation director, it's just unacceptable.
The population of Tucson's
about 500,000.
About 500,000.
Yeah, city limits. Yeah, about 500,000. And that was the highest. I mean, I've got the stats back to 2015. Nearly 100 traffic-related fatalities, the highest in that range. And so, we've got to do something. So a few things that we're doing as a department. One, I know that you had Chief Casmer on not too long ago, my buddy Chad. We got together right away and said, look, we got to do something. So we have our teams meeting quarterly to figure out how do we address this concern, because traffic safety involves a few different things. It involves encouragement, education, enforcement, engineering, and I think equity is the fifth one.
Were those all E's?
Those are all E's, the 5 E's.
And explain the equity, because I got all of those, but equity, you lost me.
So equity has to do with, are you prioritizing safety in more affluent neighborhoods versus less affluent neighborhoods?
I got you.
And we actually see a disproportionate impact on communities of color, communities that have experienced historic disinvestment. And so, we need to make sure we're not leaving those folks behind.
Okay. So the 5 E's, but so you were on with on the YouTube, I saw it anyways, when Secretary Buttigieg came to town, right, for the 22nd Street Bridge. And he had made a reference of that to disadvantaged neighborhoods. And I think that speaks then to what you're talking about with the equity, as he wanted to create a safer bridge, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, so 22nd Street Bridge is a really good example about how we can provide some investment in areas that have experienced historic disinvestment. So 22nd Street Bridge right now, you can't drive a school bus over it. You can't drive a Suntran bus over it. You have to route around it because it's currently weight restricted. Oh, wow. And so just there, you have a barrier for people to get from their neighborhoods to Reed Park, to the University of Arizona. Yeah. And so that is one of the ways that bridge, replacing that bridge is one of the ways that we can address that historic disinvestment. Also, walking and biking that area, not too fun if you've ever done it. So we're going to look for ways to improve that as well.
Very cool. All right. So
let me can I dig into something you said real quick? Is that all right?
Yeah.
So you're actually seeing a disproportionate amount of fatalities in the underadvantaged or lower income, or I don't know what was the right. Tell me what the right phrase is.
The right phrase.
Sam, you're better than me at this.
That's right. The right phrase is historic disinvestment. Okay. Areas that have experienced historic disinvestment. And what we found through that Move Tucson Mobility Master Plan is that those are areas of high transportation needs. So they're one vehicle households. So they're walking, they're taking the bus more than homes with two vehicles. And so in those instances, that's where you have a concern, where if somebody's walking every day to the bus stop, a pedestrian.
It's numbers.
Exactly.
Statistics.
It's a numbers thing. And then if you look at the community, maybe their neighborhood doesn't have sidewalks, doesn't have a safe passage across a major roadway. And so then that's where you have that incident of a fatality or a serious incident.
Right. Yeah. So it makes sense. That's where you should be focusing.
Exactly. We want to, and that's the equity piece to answer your question about the 5 E's. But back to my original point of that conversation is that it's not something that just Sam and the Department of Transportation and Mobility can solve, or that Chad as the chief of police can solve. It's something that we have to work together on, and the enforcement's a big piece of that. And so what we're trying to do is come together, and we meet quarterly. We're looking at data. We're trying to analyze the data and say, where are we having incidents of high speeds, running red lights, running left turn arrows. So that way we can work with our engineers, we can work with the police, and try to address those issues systematically, knowing that we exist in an environment of limited resources. So we want to make sure we optimize where we spend that money.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the 5 E's that we talked about, and then the statistics. Chief Casmer had made a similar statement when he was first interviewed, when he became chief, that he would like to address the fatalities and the accidents. So you guys are aligned definitely on that. It sounds like, which is awesome. Going back to the bicyclists and that, the bike boulevards, I'm sure would help as far as creating a safe corridor, if you will. I don't know if the message is out there enough yet for the community to give the 3 feet when you pass a bicyclist.
Yeah.
And in fact, I don't know if I don't know what it is, so it's like, what can we do to kind of get that?
And
that
just to be
Josh?
devil's advocate, I don't think the word's out there to the bicyclists either that they got to share the road too.
That's both sides of that. That's a good
As
point.
a cyclist myself, I see guys riding 2 or 3 abreast, and I'm like, I know legally you can do that, but is that really the safest thing? So I think the cycling community in Tucson has some accountability, responsibility here too. It's not just the drivers.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because I heard your interview with the chief, and I think that there's a responsibility by all of us to operate our whatever mode of transportation we're doing safely. If you're walking, don't walk across the light, don't cross against the signal. Be safe. And I've seen cyclists break the traffic laws, and that creates an unsafe situation as well. So I think it's important that we all abide by the traffic laws and operate whatever it is we're operating safely. The other thing I'll add, Mike, is that we are to address that concern is we are starting to build more protected bike lanes. So as you know, that throughout the city, we have bike lanes, but if you've ever ridden in a bike lane with 45-mile-an-hour cars next to you, you don't feel very safe.
Right.
I'm pretty proud that I was part of a group that made the decision to install the first protected bike lane in Tucson, and it was on that downtown links St. Mary's portion. If you go out there, you see those little plastic pylons. That was the first protected bike lane in Tucson. Originally, the design just had a little painted buffer and then the bike lane, and we had an opportunity to add those as a pilot, and that's catching on. We're actually going to add more on the new road on Cyclovia Braza Parkway, and we're building more, even more robust than that, adding actual curbs between the bike lane and the vehicle lane. If you go over to Main Avenue south of Speedway, we are testing out this thing called Zikla zebras. They look like little armadillos in the ground. And it's, again, to provide that physical separation between the bike lane and the vehicles.
Huh. I mean, that sounds like the time I've spent in Europe. Like that's how their cities and their streets are set up a lot. They have kind of embraced cycling. It's part of their culture over there, but there is a lot of that protected bike lane. Pretty prolific all over Europe. So
absolutely. In fact, I'd say about 5 or 6 years ago, we had a cohort of folks go to the Netherlands to examine how are they dealing with bicyclists and the roadway. And what you find is that they use bikes more than vehicles. I think People for Bikes sponsored that trip, and so we try to learn on techniques that we can bring back to the city.
That's super cool.
Improve,
that's super cool.
Improve the experience. And cycling just recently in this job and getting my new bike I actually like to get out on the road and try to experience what that is like for myself. And I tell you, it's a completely change your perspective.
Yeah.
Riding the bike throughout the city versus driving a car. Just the hills alone is a new perspective.
It's a whole walk a mile in someone else's shoes, right?
Absolutely.
You can totally see
where
they're coming from. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Something you mentioned about going over to Europe. Oh yeah, that was it. So in Europe, they tend to ride more bicycles than, I think, anyways, in the United States. In Europe for modes of transportation
per capita.
Per capita. Are we doing anything as a city maybe to promote that? I know they're looking at like high density housing, which will kind of allow for more mobility, if you will, in closer proximity. But I don't know. Is there anything that we're doing to promote that whole bicycling, maybe like Cyclovia, events like that? Get the word out?
Absolutely. I think that Cyclovia is a really good example about just getting people out, riding their bike in a really comfortable environment so they can say, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can ride it to work once a week. There's National Week Without a Car. So I think just this last month in October, there was Living Streets Alliance sponsored. It was a whole week where they encourage people to try a different mode of transportation. I think the work that we're doing through Prop 407, Prop 411, which if you want, we can talk about in a little bit, to try to create that safe cycling environment. But it goes beyond just cycling, because I think in a city like Tucson that is sprawled out as much as it is, the transit system plays a really important role as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things we're doing as a city is we have a project right now where we are studying what transit-oriented development would look like along a potential high-capacity transit corridor. And so what that means is that we're looking for opportunities to create that density and that mixed use development along roadways that have high transit use, with the eventual intention of setting up a bus rapid transit system, which we're actually in the works right now. They're very, very early stages.
So what is a bus rapid transit system?
Yeah. So bus rapid transit is a system that is a bus system that operates in its own lane. So we take a lane of traffic and convert it to a bus only lane, and it operates at high frequency, and it can carry lots of people, and it can move people pretty quickly through the city, much more efficiently than a single occupancy vehicle can.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then I don't know who designed them, but the little bike carriers on the front of the buses.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Ride your bike to the bus stop.
Exactly.
Take the bus.
Yep.
Near a stop, ride your bike to work.
Exactly. And so all of those things play together. I mean, there are absolutely people that can ride 10, 15 miles into work, no problem, but not everybody has that opportunity. So creating different ways for people to get about the city without always just hopping into a single occupancy vehicle is the way that we're going to get things done. People complain about the traffic here. I tell them, go to Chicago and see the traffic. That's real traffic. This isn't traffic.
Yeah.
But we can't, especially in Tucson, we can't build our way out of this. I mean, I can widen the roads only so much before we have to figure out a different way to do things.
Is there any plans for any other highways through Tucson?
There is not. No. Well, I shouldn't say that. ADOT is planning an extension of aviation, State Route 210, to connect over to I-10, actually southeast of its current location. So that is in the works right now. But beyond that, there's no east-west freeways coming anytime soon to Tucson.
That is so funny what you said about like perspective.
Yeah.
Because when it's an interesting, like you mentioned, spread out community. It's a lot of surface streets. But if you compare this when you go up to the big city, Phoenix or Chicago or LA, whatever, it's like, okay, this isn't
bad. Right? Yeah, this isn't bad.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the nature of, how our city is laid out, right? Like you said.
Hey guys, we've mentioned Cyclovia a couple times. I think it's worth just telling our listeners a little bit about what Cyclovia is. And I think it happens twice a year. Is
That's
that
correct.
Right?
Yep.
Twice a year, spring and fall, I believe. And it's a festival in Tucson. It's focused around riding bikes or walking. And they shut down a portion of the street. I think historically it's been like a loop. This year it was an out and back, roughly 4 or 5 miles. And all kinds of local vendors and organizations come out. And there's all kinds of events and things for kids and adults. And it's just a great place a great way to kind of come out. No traffic on those streets at all. Ride your bike. Enjoy Tucson, and there's a lot of our local flair that kind of
the food. They did have bratwurst out there as well. I saw.
You're in a bratwurst kick today.
I am. And then my kids went, and so it was just fun cruising up and down the road with no cars around.
Yeah,
right. And the volunteers, it looked like they were quite an undertaking.
It is.
And Saul from Genuine BMX is always out there with his big ramps, and you get to see some kids flying in the air.
Yeah, that was cool too.
Anyways, we mentioned it a couple times. I want to give some context to our listeners. So
Cyclovia, twice a year.
Twice a year.
It's definitely worth checking out if you're ever in the area.
It's a lot of fun, especially if you've got new bike riders. Like my little 6-year-old just kind of getting comfortable on her bike. Yeah. We're scared to death of cars pulling out of driveways and knocking her over. You take her out there and she was able to just ride and have fun. And it's a lot of fun. And even if you're not going to ride the bike, go walk it. It's a really cool event. Lots of vendors. Yeah. We help sponsor it, but Living Streets Alliance is the organization that puts it on. And we're even having conversations. How can we do it more often? Maybe we do little smaller cyclovias throughout the year to just, again, keep that encouragement going.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. So speaking of events, when we had Chief Kazmar, we talked about the tour to Tucson. Do you guys do anything with that? Just, your roads in the city of Tucson, a lot of those, or is it pretty much just all?
Do you have to do maintenance work or anything in preparation for that?
Absolutely. So we definitely do maintenance work ahead of Tour de Tucson. We have the route. We work with the organizers and we go out, we make sure potholes are filled, there's no debris, we sweep the streets, we make sure there's no tree limbs hanging down. We do work with them on all the permitting of the traffic control. We help them get the word out to make sure people know that on that one Saturday in November, maybe you don't want to leave your house if you can avoid it, or if you're going to go ride El Tour. Last year, we actually were able to advance one of our paving projects near the TCC to make sure that it was right at the end. It was on Cushing, right at the end of the route, to make sure there was brand new pavement for that event.
Oh, that's super cool.
We made it happen. Our folks do the impossible every day, and they were really excited to have that.
So once a year in November, I think it's actually the 18th this I guess not this weekend, but next weekend.
yeah,
There's I think 100, a 70, a 30, and a 15 mile route. I might not have that exactly right, but it's something like that. Just an amazing. I think there's 20,000 plus cyclists that come and do that event. Huge event, great tour. In the weather, and that's part of the 8 months of awesome here in November. So come out, check out the great streets of Tucson. And if you have any complaints, you can just email Sam.
That's right.
And it'll be in the show notes.
And he'll get right on that for you.
That's too funny.
Do you guys ride El Tour?
I did last year. My niece, for the first time, said, "Hey, I want to do it." And she's like, "Uncle Josh, will you come ride the tour?" We're mountain bikers, so we didn't do that much road biking, but I did go out last year and ride with her. And,
What'd you think?
We had a blast. And I haven't done it before. We did when we had Audio Cyclists, another company, we dressed up as gorillas and we handed out bananas to people, but, yeah. And then it actually comes like right up Old Spanish Trail and then down Loma Alta. So up Pistol Hill and all the way around. So we always go out and see everybody, and we know lots of people that are out there riding it, struggling.
Yeah. I had my bike for like 3 days and people are like, "You gonna ride El Tour?" I'm like, I haven't even rode my street yet, but let me think about that.
All right. So speaking of riding bikes, you've got a group that at the Transportation and Mobility who rides bikes, like mountain bikes, right?
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned that they're putting a team together for the 24 hours in the Old Pueblo.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's correct.
And I think they extended an invitation for you to ride with them.
They did. All right.
So are you going to ride?
Sam, how tall are you?
6'1".
6'1". Do you want to borrow one of my bikes for the race? You're welcome to borrow one of my.
That's what Mike said too. So yeah,
Josh, that was good for
I have a road bike now. I don't have a mountain bike, so I'm thinking about it. I got to. Folks are telling me it's not that bad. You could probably do it. You could probably do it.
What's the strategy? Like, what team do they have? How many laps?
So some of the folks have participated before in other teams. And finally, this year, we've got quite a bit of cycling enthusiasts in our department. In our planning division, I would say just about every single one of our planners is a cyclist. A lot of them cycle to work.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so they all started talking and said, "Well, why don't we just put a team together?" So I think they've got 5 or 6 right now. I think you can have 10 on a team.
You can do a corporate team?
Yeah, they're trying really hard.
If you're going to do a corporate team, it's like no stress at all.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, it's no stress at all. You should go do it. I mean, you should do one lap. It's 16 miles. It's not very technical. The back end, a little bit of climbing. Don't make it seem so bad. It's only like 2,000 feet of climbing or something. It's
only 2,000 feet. No, but one lap. I mean, just the whole experience, if nothing else, especially with the department. I think it'd be a great.
Have you ever been out to that or seen that happen?
Never been out to it. Never seen it.
It is the craziest thing. It's like just this ranch desert, and then all of a sudden there's like 5,000 people, and this town is erected, and just anarchy and chaos, all in the right, all in a positive vibe. It's a cool.
I know you're a busy guy, but I think you'd really enjoy the experience.
Right. Yeah, it's super cool.
The grind. I mean, so it's November, February. You have plenty of time, to train.
Yeah, I mean, we learned that all you have to do is all right. So I've done that race a dozen times, and what we learned is that we could go from like beer drinking, cigarette smoking, couch sitting, overweight guys, and in like 4 weeks we could prepare for the 24-hour race.
Okay,
and the way that we did that was 3 intensive interval training workouts a week of like 30 to 45 minutes.
Josh started a company to do this. He was so stoked on it.
We did start a company. We lost a lot of money on that company, but
but they're still on YouTube in Japan.
Yeah, right. We do have a loyal following in Japan. This is true. There's at least 6 people in Japan that are still using.
You wrote all the music and everything, and had it in cadence with the. It's pretty well done, actually.
Yeah, it's a cool product. Anyways, if you do that, interval training on a bike, you can do it on the bike that you have. Just go fast for a minute and then go slow for 3 minutes. Go fast for a minute, go slow for 3 minutes. It's like that easy. You can prepare yourself. So kind of like January 8th, when you're like done with the holiday, you're like, oh God, what did I do to myself? You can take a month. It'll help you get out of what happened to you and over the holidays.
I like it.
You can go do the ride. And Todd Sadao is,
I know Todd.
You know Todd. Yeah. So he's he puts that he lives in San Diego now.
We actually epic rides, right?
Yeah, we just learned that he well, they all know each other. Come on.
Oh yeah.
He moved to San Diego.
Yeah, that's what Yep.
Yeah. Traitor.
Yeah. All right.
No offense, Dad.
I have to bring this up because I just got the notification that the police report's been officially like all done. I got it last week from the city of Tucson Police Department. Okay, because my kid's bike was stolen out of the garage. All right, you mentioned parking areas. Like, do you cover any of the like bike parking areas? And is there anything like for bike theft, like to prevent that within the city?
So we do no. Well, so we don't regulate bike parking. We do offer bike loops for businesses that want bike parking outside of their business, and so we've got a team that works on that. So,
and by bike loops, you're talking about like a metal,
metal
loop
that people want to put in front of their business and encourage bike parking. So no, we don't regulate that though.
But you'll help like get them set up with those bike loops.
Yeah, we'll help because we want to encourage people to cycle.
Cool. Nice.
I've watched some pretty cool YouTubes about bike theft in New York City. Casey Neistat has some cool ones. You want to check them out?
I'm not aware of that. I got to check
it out. You can put a Apple AirTag in your bike now.
Yeah,
that's a great
idea.
We should probably do that, dude.
Yeah,
I got a whole box of Apple AirTags in there, and
you do?
I haven't put them on. Actually, they're on all my bikes.
Just getting the word out here.
Don't even try. Just so you know, hidden in great places. You'll never find them.
Yeah, right on. Okay, so the jury's still out. If you're going to do the race, we'll keep in touch with you.
Well, I thought we decided. Didn't you just commit?
Oh yeah.
I thought you committed.
Is that what it was?
Can we get you to commit, Sam?
I'll commit to the interval training, and then we'll see how it goes.
What if we fund your entry fee?
Oh.
And you can use my bike.
I like
and it's
it.
an amazing carbon bike. It's like made.
You don't want
it's like
me on that.
It's fine. It's fine. No. It's fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You can't hurt it. Right? It's a mountain bike. It's meant to be like abused.
And just to not to scare you in the last part, it's not that bad. But what it is, it's last couple miles, and it is uphill. But the cool thing is when you are climbing, there's someone behind me who was encouraging me in my last lap.
That's one thing that's cool about mountain biking. I don't see it as much in the road biking, but like everyone's like, "You got this. Good job."
He was pulling me up there. Yeah,
it's so supportive, and like that race has everything from the best riders in the world. As a matter of fact, I've ridden that race with Lance Armstrong to guys like me. Not the best rider in the world.
So I almost bought a mountain bike right before I got this road bike. So that was definitely something that I was looking into. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll find something on Facebook Marketplace and we'll go for a ride.
Yeah. And if you ever want to, seriously, if you want to try it, because Josh lives across the street is beautiful trails up here.
Yeah.
Just grab the bike.
Come out anytime, man.
That'd be cool.
It'll fit. Cool. It'll fit you. It'll take us 5 minutes to get you sized up, and you can take it out anytime.
Nice. Awesome. I appreciate that. Speaking of hills,
So
one day I took my bike out, want to go for a little ride, and I live like Golf Links Harrison area, and I just went out, took Bonanza, Stella, and I was like, I'm going to ride to the entrance of the loop at Irvington and Harrison.
Yeah. Okay. That's right by Fantasy Island.
Yeah, right. Yep. And so I started riding. It started getting dark. I had my bike lights. I had no idea that hill on Harrison was the way that I couldn't even see the hill. I was just cycling. I was like, well, I could see the traffic signal. It's not that far away, but it was a grind. And I told a friend of mine I did that. He's like, "You're crazy. You did that at night?" It's like my third bike ride.
Seeing you handle it, no problem.
It was awesome. Coming back was a lot of fun too. So.
Yeah, going down, shooting down the hill.
Yeah, but it was cool. It's just that grind, just kind of just keep pedaling. So
there, you got it.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if you have a road bike, your clothes have to match your bike.
Is that right?
But if you ride a mountain bike, you don't have to.
All right.
You can wear anything.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So we're not doing the bike race. We did it last year with the 24-hour.
Did we decide that?
Easy called me. I think the registration's closed. Easy called me last night. So we did the race last year. Just for your information, Josh, a friend of mine from Wisconsin, and Punk Rock Dan.
Yeah.
And we got in 3 laps each, and Eric did a 4th, I think. And our times were an hour and 30 minutes up to 2 hours, something like that.
Roughly, yeah.
So just to put it in perspective, like Chad would have done it in, Chief Casimir would have done it in about an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's hardcore.
Yeah. They're so fast. And the best part, if you end up doing it, was on your left, like just getting passed the whole time. It's like on your left. And then the best is you got little kids on your left. I'm like, dang it. They're just gone.
The first year I did it, I did one lap with the corporate team, and I didn't know, like, I just stopped every time someone came up to me and said, on your left. I just pulled over. I was like, I got to be nice. I just pull over.
Yeah.
My lap time was 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Because you pulled over.
Because I pulled over like 100 times.
How long were you with the whiskey tree as well, Josh? Let's be honest.
So, halfway through, there's a tree with whiskey bottles all over it. And if you want, you can stop and take a shot or a couple shots. And there's usually somewhere between 20 and 100 people sitting there, like it's like a party, and, you can do what you want. The racers just roll through, and the rest of us stop and take a shot.
Oh, that's cool.
I probably stopped at the whiskey tree for 10 or 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
Interesting stories from those. I don't think I've told this on the podcast before, but another year I was there with the 4-man team, and on our team we had a last minute dropout, and we got this guy to come out, and he was a triathlete, like hardcore, like athlete. He was sculpted. He was just amazing athlete. And I'd done a couple laps, and then we started drinking, and I drank a lot. And it's like 2 a.m, and I'm pretty well, like three sheets in the wind. And these guys, the guy comes in, the guy's supposed to go out, doesn't want to go out. And I'm like, well, maybe I should do a lap, but I'm really drunk. And the triathlete's like, listen, yes, you should definitely do a lap. The way that your body works, in like 10 minutes, your body will have burned off all the alcohol and you'll be fine. And I was like, oh, that sounds perfect. So I went to the lap. That doesn't happen. Your body does not burn off the alcohol. I rode that lap intoxicated the entire time, which is on a trail,
that's impressive.
Not anywhere near the roads. Yeah.
Very, very impressive.
No, it was an awful experience. But it was a life lesson.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine.
Exercise does not make you sober. In case you guys thought that it did.
All right, good example, Josh. All right, so kind of back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah, we got on a tangent here. I'm sorry, I told you, Sam. It goes all over.
That's all good.
All
good.
Yeah.
Go
Let's
ahead,
talk about potholes.
We can't not talk about potholes.
Let's talk about potholes.
All right.
So what happens? So I see a pothole. There's a way for me to report it. What happens after I report it?
So there's 2 ways you report it. You can call it in, 520-791-3154.
He's got that number memorized. He's not reading, just for our listeners. That was off the top of his head.
That's impressive. So is that the pothole hotline?
The pothole hotline. It is actually called TDOT Concerns, back from when we used to be called TDOT.
Okay.
And go ahead.
No, okay, hold on. TDOT. Do you have a nickname, or is it TDOT?
I don't. Do I have a
TDOT
nickname? No. Oh, the department. So yeah, we call our department DTM now, Department of Transportation and Mobility.
But what's your nickname?
I don't have a nickname. They call me Director Credio.
Okay. All right.
I'm working. We'll come up with it.
I think TDOT's pretty cool, but all right. Okay, so you're saying pothole hotline.
Yep.
You
So
knew the number by heart.
call the phone number. You've got to tell us where it's at, because people will be like, I was driving and there's a pothole. I need you to go fix it. We're like, where? It was on golf links.
Thanks, God.
Yeah. And I'm not joking. People will literally do that. I hit a pothole on golf links. Go fix it. So I need to know what direction you're driving, roughly the cross streets, as much information as you can. We actually have an email address too, tdotconcerns@tucsonaz.gov. You can send pictures of it. And there's also an app called SeeClickFix, which most people are familiar with. It's a third-party app that you can take a picture and send it into us. Actually, anything transportation related.
Wow.
Tree limb down, a sign down, but mostly people call about potholes. And so that comes in, and we issue that to our street maintenance division. Our street maintenance division is about 100 strong.
Wow.
Sounds like a lot of people. 100 people.
100 people. Of 250.
Of 250.
Right.
And it sounds like a lot of people. When you think about how much area in the city we have to cover, it's not really that much.
What is our coverage?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Okay.
200.
I don't want to put you on the
We
spot.
stumped him. We stumped him on a metric. He's got a package there full of metrics, and we stumped him on the metrics. Yeah. He's never going to miss this question again, though. Tomorrow he's going to be like, "Damn it, team! I did not know.
Somebody's getting
How did
fired.
I know?"
All right. If we're going to play Stump Director Credio, how many miles of road do we have?
I knew you were going to ask that. I mean, you don't know, so I could probably make up.
Yeah,
a number.
yeah,
You'd be like,
No,
wow.
and then
43.
Who's going to verify it, right?
I think it's about 5,000 lane miles of roadway.
Actually, you were talking to someone locally who's trying to ride every.
He's We were trying to get him on the podcast.
Michael McKisson.
Yeah,
you know him?
Yeah.
He's trying to ride every street in Tucson.
He has. I think he has.
Has he finished it?
Yeah, I saw on Twitter. I think he's finished it.
Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, we got to get him on.
Yeah, for sure.
He lives in Dunbar Spring neighborhood.
We should have had him on.
cool.
We should have had him on with Sam.
I know it. He could-
That would have been a debate. He's not too happy with us.
For our listeners who do not know what a monsoon is, we have.
Wait, we haven't finished the pothole story
yeah,
yet.
we gotta
Or
finish
you-
it.
We're
you-
still on potholes. Well, I was
Yeah,
going to talk
yeah.
about road
Yeah.
maintenance.
Okay, well, just take us down because
Yeah,
we didn't
so-
get to like what happens yet.
So,
Oh,
so,
yeah, yeah,
so you
the
call it
resolution
in,
here.
it gets sent over to our maintenance division, and then we will dispatch that to either a crew or our rapid response team. So if it's 10 or less potholes, that'll go to our rapid response team, and they'll probably fill it within 24 to 48 hours.
Are you kidding
That
me?
is
Maybe within
impressive.
yeah,
That
pretty,
fast?
Pretty fast, especially if I call it in. They get done super fast.
Again, send Sam an email.
But no, realistically, within that week's time frame, we'll probably fill that onesie twosie. Now, if it's a lot of potholes, then we will deploy it to one of our area crews, and they'll schedule that to come in because I want to make sure they have enough asphalt. I actually went out with the crew and filled potholes one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Just walk in someone else's shoes, right? That's
Exactly.
good.
I'm
Yep.
a big fan of that.
Yeah.
So, since you've been director, what are the potholes? I mean, do you have like a pothole per square mile, like per mile? Like, is it improved?
Yeah, what are your? Someone else is
metrics
getting
on
fired
that?
if they doesn't have a pothole per mile metric here.
Because I don't, and I'm not just saying this because you're here sitting with us. I don't think I see as many potholes as I used to, maybe pre-COVID.
Just since 2022, I think.
Since
basically, I think it's
Yeah,
you.
since April, we
Yep.
we filled a lot of potholes. No, so there's actually a few reasons for that. One is we have some new equipment, so that's what I wanted to go out with our crew is see. We have this thing called a multi-patch, and what it is we can spray down the oil, drop the asphalt, and fill a bunch of potholes really quickly. It's not like the old days where you had like a big old dump truck full of asphalt, shovels, and so that's part of it. We have new equipment. The other part of it is we've been spending a lot of time and money in resurfacing our roads. Back in and again, maybe I'm the lucky penny. May 2022.
Oh, nice.
We had a Proposition 411 pass by a vote of 73-20. It's the greatest margin that a city initiative has ever passed.
Yeah.
And it was for a 0.5-cent sales tax for 10 years to resurface every neighborhood street in the city limits.
Wow.
And it passed overwhelmingly. And I told our team this is that the city demonstrated they have trust that we're going to do what we said we're going to do. And so we've started to do that work. And that is drastically cutting down on the potholes.
So you're a year into the 10-year plan.
Yep.
What percentage are you done at this point?
What percentage are we done? We just started. We're I don't know what percentage, but we were probably on our 4th or 5th neighborhood right now.
Okay.
Harold Bell Wright neighborhood was one we just wrapped up not too long ago. We've got a lot of neighborhoods to get done over that 10-year period. So I think this year right now we've got about $60 million worth of work that's either in design, out to construction, or out to bid right now.
Wow.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall. I just see like you guys' take over the world maps.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, all right, we're going to start paving here, and then
I can send you a link to a map. You can check it out. Yeah. So part of the process with 411 is we have an oversight committee made up of community members that are responsible for making sure we do what we said we're going to do with the money. And so they actually were the ones that decided with our recommendation on which neighborhoods got done first.
The priority.
Exactly. And so we have
So it's all the neighborhoods of the people on the oversight committee first.
right.
Just kidding.
Well, you know what? Back to that equity conversation is that actually played a role in the neighborhoods that
It's one of the variables. Yeah.
And then we also looked at the lowest rating roads. And so we use what's called OCI, Overall Condition Index. It's a 0 to 100 scale, 0 being worse, 100 being like brand new pavement.
Right.
And we're trying to get the really lowest OCI roads in the neighborhood.
Yeah, get the worst roads first.
Exactly. So we have the 4 years already programmed, and I could send you that map. It's pretty impressive.
4 years out.
4 years out. It's a $740 million program over 10 years. Wow. And 590 of it is for pavement only. The other remaining is for traffic safety. And so that's where we're also being able to do some of those safety things I talked about earlier out of that pot.
Yeah, one of those safety things is a YouTube, the blue light.
Yeah, the blue light.
Right?
Yeah.
What's the blue light?
The blue light, do you remember Kmart? We talked about Kmart blue light special?
I know what that is. Yep.
Yeah, different blue light. But yeah, Sam, what's the blue light?
Blue light.
It was a nice little YouTube.
So we spent a lot of time on the blue light conversation. So again, getting together with TPD, trying to figure out what are some things we can do to improve safety. One of the most dangerous movements at a signalized traffic intersections, signalized intersection is the left turn movement. And so you all remember when we had the red light running cameras? We don't have them anymore.
Yeah. So did our incidents increase?
Absolutely.
Wow.
In fact, when that and that was voter approved, voters said we don't want red light running cameras. So that when that was approved, we had to shut the cameras off. But we kept recording. We kept data.
You're just not giving
for
tickets.
A period of time. Now they're completely shuttered. People freak out when they see the cameras. They're dead now.
Yeah.
But for a period of time after we shut the cameras off, red light running increased like 400%.
Really?
It was crazy. Something insane like that. Yeah. And so the left turns are a huge concern. And so one of the things is that the enforcement piece, it's very difficult for police to enforce those left turns. It's not only difficult, but unsafe for them. And so one of the strategies, and this has been done in other communities, is you put a blue light on that traffic signal on that. So when that left turn arrow turns red, that light turns blue. And so the police officer can stage across the intersection
safely.
He can't see or she can't see that the arrow is red, but they can see that the light is blue. And if a vehicle enters the intersection, they know that they ran the red light and they could pull them over.
And I imagine the blue light also would be a deterrent for people to run the light, because blue is like the light that you see from
blueberries and cherries
from cops, right?
Yeah, red and blues.
Yeah. So I'd imagine if I saw blue, I'd like, what the hell is that? Stop.
And that is the other piece of it too. I mean, obviously the enforcement is very effective.
Yeah.
But what we'd rather people do is just not run
the light.
Yeah. So hopefully that blue light will be a deterrent, will be awareness. Yeah. It's at the intersection of Grant and Craycroft. It's a pilot project.
Nice.
So we're still studying it to figure out if it's going to reduce left turn red light running.
Sam, I'm a strategy guy, and you gave me a few metrics, but we didn't dive into it. You said we're at 100 serious, what was the term? Fatalities or serious incidents this year?
Yeah, well, last year. So this year, as of today, we have 86 traffic-related fatalities.
Wow.
In the city. That breaks down to 34 vehicle, 19 motorcycle, 27 pedestrians, and 6 cyclists.
6 cyclists, okay. And are those all fatalities?
Those are all fatalities. And over the last 5 or 6 years, we've averaged about 5 to 7 cycling-related fatalities. Pedestrians are down this year. I'm happy to report that. Oh. So we're down about half of pedestrian
that's super
fatalities.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
But
then what's up?
The vehicular fatalities. And
do you have a hypothesis on the root cause there?
I do. I think it's speed. I think that's one thing that we're seeing is that people are just driving at really high rates of speeds.
They're driving faster now.
What
would cause that? I mean, is that a COVID thing? Or
that's what Chad and I hypothesized, that after COVID, everybody came back out driving and just lost their minds, and they're just driving unsafely.
And do we know, is this like national? Is this a trend that
this is a national trend? Yeah, we're seeing nationally.
Higher speeds.
Yep. So we're at 86 right now with a little less than 2 months left. I hope we don't see a number over 99.
I hope we don't either, but I mean, it would suggest that you're on track to beat your last year's number.
That's what it looks like, but we're, fingers crossed that'll come down. It's encouraging to see that pedestrian fatalities are down. That one really is difficult. That's our most vulnerable user on the roadway system.
So what are you doing? What are you doing to bring that number down?
Yeah, we're doing lots of things. So, earlier
we went from potholes to fatalities.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
This is supposed to be a friendly environment, man.
It's all right. A lot of conversations I have, it quickly goes, so what are we doing to make our roads safer?
Yeah.
So, earlier I mentioned that we've got a funding source called HERF. Interestingly, I cannot use HERF dollars for traffic safety education. It's actually disallowed. So
Can we change that?
Yeah, we need our legislatures to change that. We need to find more resources for traffic safety. The the governor's office on highway safety offers grants that we're going to work with TPD to try to get some of that money down here. But the other thing is that through our budgeting process, 2 years in a row now, I've been successful in securing general fund dollars. And these are the general monies that come into the city. Pretty flexible. And so the city manager and the mayor and council recognize the need for traffic safety education. And so we've allocated $150,000 these last 2 years.
Right.
And we're using that to work with TPD to develop some traffic safety campaigns. You've probably seen on the back of buses or at bus stops that we've got a campaign on slow down. We've got campaigns on make sure that you're visible, be seen. Can't remember the acronym, but those are the education components we're doing. And then as we are designing new roads, we are trying to incorporate those safety elements into our projects. Into the design. We're making our sidewalks wider. We're moving our sidewalks away from the road. We are designing for speeds that make sense and providing safe options for cyclists. As we can, that I think the tough part is the retrofit of the roadway. How do you make a road safer? The other thing that we're doing is we've got partners at the Pima Association of Governments. It's our metropolitan planning organization. They do what's called a road safety assessment. And so they actually come out with traffic engineering professionals, and they will, if we've got a problem spot, they'll come out and they'll take a look at it, and they'll come up with short, medium, and long-term recommendations to make the road safer. We just recently did it on Marianne Cleveland Way. I know there was a pretty serious fatality out there not too long ago. We did it at Golf Links in Pantano. And then we get those recommendations, and the ones we can implement quickly, we will. The ones that we don't have funding for, then we go find the funding. We use those propositions, the money from those propositions, or then I can use that HERF money to make those improvements. And so those are just a few things we're trying to do to make things safer. But at the end of the day, it really takes all of us to just be aware, put your phone down, drive slower, look out for one another.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious that you guys are taking this really seriously. And I was joking with you earlier. Where I'm from, there's a traffic concept. We call it the Michigan left, where you don't actually turn left at the light. You go through the intersection, and then there's a U-turn and you come back that way. There's a couple things like that in Tucson. Are you considering more of that? Yeah,
we are actually. So Grant Road corridor is instituting, we call them indirect lefts, but they're also called Michigan left turns. So earlier I mentioned how unsafe that left turn phase is at a signalized intersection. And so by moving that left turn away from the main intersection makes it a lot safer, but it also makes it more efficient for traffic flow. Left turns are completely inefficient. The thing about indirect left turns is they work really good when they're done in series. So we've completed portions of Grant Road. We're actually out to bid right now for Grant Road from Swan to Alvernon, and there's going to be 2 more indirect left turns there. And then we're working on the design on Grant 5 and 6, which is like the Grant Campbell area. And so basically from Oracle all the way to Swan, the entire Grant Road will be complete, and we'll utilize that Michigan left turn.
What about, so I lived in England for a couple of years, and it's all roundabouts. I love roundabouts. And I love it. I love it.
That might be my nickname.
Is Roundabout Sam. There you go. Roundabout Sam. There you go. It's done. Boom. Roundabout Sam. That's going to live on, brother. You're going to feel bad. You came up with that. You named yourself just for the record. In England, they're amazing. In the States, no matter where I've been, we don't know how to use them.
In the Sedona comes to mind.
Yeah, Sedona as you drive. Yeah. So the folks don't know how to use them. And so it actually is definitely not as efficient as it is in England. But is that in your, are you guys thinking about it? It is,
yeah. We've got a roundabout planned for 36th and Campbell. It's more of a neighborhood intersection. Right now, I think it's a 4-way stop, but it's a real weird intersection that does experience some high speeds. There's a lot of pedestrians there. Yeah. We've got the confluence of about 4 different projects all right there. A lot of them walkability projects, bike boulevards, sidewalks. And we were able to get some funding from Prop 411 to put a roundabout there. We have a bit of an uphill climb here because just like you said, the neighbors are like, what? This is crazy.
What
I
the hell
can't.
is
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
We're not going to be. And actually what they keep pointing to is the one at Tucson Marketplace by the Costco and the Walmart, which is a really bad example of a roundabout.
It is for sure.
Yep. And so we've brought in national experts on roundabouts to work on that design. We're doing our public outreach right now. I am hell bent on getting that roundabout in because I really believe not only are they really cool, they are more efficient to move traffic.
Yep.
And they are safer. Yeah. The conflict points are not the same. You don't have head-on crashes.
Yeah,
if you have
anything,
a crash,
it's like a
side swipe or a rear end. That's the one downside of roundabouts, and you can manage this through design, is it can be challenging for pedestrians and bicyclists.
Yep.
But again, if you do a really good design, you get the right people on board, it can be a really effective tool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Very nice.
Have we driven Sam crazy enough, you think?
This is fun.
Sam, do you have any, well, first of all, thank you so much for coming out. I should say Roundabout. Thank you so much for coming out. Roundabout Sam. You got any final words you want to leave our listeners with?
Man.
Be safe.
Be safe. Yeah. Take care of one another. You know, I often, you know, I do get a lot of complaints. All joking aside, we get complaints about a myriad of things. And I think that our city and our department has a responsibility. We respond to those complaints, and we maintain the right of way, and we've got to provide that safe environment. But there's also a level of responsibility of the users as well.
Yeah.
And so I think that we all can just, you know, drive a little slower, look out for one another, and make sure we all get home safe.
So take some accountability, people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well
Sam,
said.
Roundabout Sam, thank you so much for coming out.
Thanks, Sam.
We really appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Not too bad. Great. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for coming out, man. It's cool. One of the interesting things about doing this podcast is like,